This is a presentation on appearance and its effects on leadership effectiveness by Brian Kazmar and Tamara Eason. In nonverbal communication, first impressions are critical. Scott Anders says that some research suggests we form accurate first impressions within 100 milliseconds based on nonverbal cues. Negative first impressions can deliver unfavorable biases that may take upward of 6 months of close contact to reverse. That's a long time of repairing and mending a potentially inaccurate first impression. In addition, traits such as trustworthiness are derived from the face of a stranger within 33 milliseconds. That was quoted by Bailey et al. In 2016, and that tells you that people are making very significant conclusions within a very short amount of time. In a study by Daniel Ree and Nicholas Rule, it was found that when shown an image of a CEO's face, subjects were able to make an accurate judgment on the general expected performance of the firm. It said they therefore base their impression of leadership ability as instructed on their gut instinct of what business leaders should look like. Thus, judgments of leadership ability tend to correlate with perceptions of traits that should belong to business leaders, such as competence and power. That was quoted by Rule and Ambady, 2008 and 2009 in alternative writings. What this tells us is that there are expectations and natural assumptions made by people regarding a leadership role's appearance. And this tells you that we have expectations of what a powerful, effective leader should look like.
Knowledge, experience, and attitude are important, but they're often overlooked. Sure, we'd all like to think that we got that job based off of our talent and our resume for our skills, but showing up groomed, properly dressed, and prepared are more important, have a hold more weight in getting some jobs. Appearance always matters for all types of job situations. We judge first impressions and appearance even if we later find out we were wrong about what the appearance means about that employee. Whether it's your shoes, accessories, hairstyle, face, race, tattoos, gender, etc., we get an impression about someone the first time we meet them. So wear that suit to the first interview because it could decide if you're going to get that job.
So far, we've explored the importance of a first impression. Sakamoto et al. In 2018 says that people often rely on their emotions or subjective impressions, either intentionally or unintentionally, to shape a wide variety of judgments, including social, political, and personal decisions. Moving forward, we are further exploring particular components of our appearance and the significant impacts each component can have. Our visual appearance is found to impact your level of persuasiveness, which is also a measure of leadership effectiveness. You really have to have the ability to communicate an effective vision, persuade your teams to work towards that vision, and you're really going to need persuasiveness to obtain needed resources to make sure you're still able to be an effective leader. Our emotions and subjective impressions shaped a wide variety of judgments according to Sakamoto et al. And Scott Anders in 2015 said that it could possibly take 6 months to overcome those perceptions. So overall, persuasiveness relies on appearance, and your appearance is very important.
We live in a pretty liberal state, and tattoos could become the norm in Oregon. But to nail a job interview, you gotta look professional. For many millenniums, that means concealing their beloved body art. An estimated 4 in 10 have a tattoo, and 70% say they hide their ink at work, according to a Pew Research Center survey. Despite how mainstream they are today, tattoos have historically become associated with prisoners, gang members, and other types of people who aren't upstanding citizens, says Joanne Blake, president and owner of Canadian corporate image consulting firm Styles for Success. 2 types of tattoos that aren't likely to fly are face and neck tattoos, and they will likely disqualify you from a job opportunity. Whether the ink is on your face or secreted away on your ankle, few executives nowadays are tattooed. It's important to keep any tattoos hidden when shooting for higher up roles. So if you plan on climbing that corporate ladder, you want to keep your tattoos hidden. Whether you accept it or not, race matters in hiring, unfortunately. Employers hire based on race, age, and religion, despite the laws that are meant to prohibit unfairness or discrimination. The following are excerpts and quotes by Mark Anthony Dyson in 2018. A study in 2003 in Milwaukee found that whites with criminal records received job callbacks at a rate more than 3 times that of blacks with the same criminal record, and even at a higher than blacks without a criminal record. A 2003 study in California found that temporary agencies prefer white applicants 3-to-1 over African American applicants. And a 2002 study in Boston and Chicago found that resumes of persons with names common among whites were 50% more likely to generate a request for an interview than equal impressive resumes of persons with names commonly among blacks.
It would be a reasonable assumption to say that it's most likely if you're paid more, you're probably a better leader. Even if that's not true, the perception of such would mean that you'd probably be paid more. Those who are perceived as effective leaders would be paid accordingly. Economics experts Das and DeLoach communicate that pay reflects this assumption. He says, for example, a well-groomed worker may be more likely to be organized, pay attention to detail, or be dedicated to the job. As a result, time spent grooming could be interpreted as a rational investment in one's reputation in the same way that professional certifications signal quality. Thus, unlike the traditional view of non-market activities, increased time spent on grooming may be associated with higher, not lower, earnings. Basically, they say you spend more time making yourself look professional, improving your appearance, the more likely it is that you're going to be making more money. The assumption is that you're going to be a better, more effective worker and possibly a leader because you spend more time on your appearance. While it may not be a popular position, appearance has a proven impact on people's perception of you. It significantly impacts your perceived level of effectiveness. You could be the best natural and talented leader, but if the perceptions of you are negative for any reason, it automatically reduces your effectiveness because you can only be as effective as those around you perceive you to be. This slide and the next slide are a compilation of the sources we referred to during our research for this project and within this presentation.